guys, it's Maddie from Let's Eat Plants, and today we are making chickpea cheese sauce. If you are feeling very surprised by the title of this video, I have to admit that I was as well when I first saw that you could turn chickpeas into a cheese sauce. Chickpeas as cheese? I mean, I'm just like a little bit mind-boggled here. Now, of course, I do love chickpeas. I love making hummus. I love using them in a variety of different dishes. And I also love vegan cheese sauces. But I haven't yet done a cheese sauce out of chickpeas. So I have to admit that even I am a little bit skeptical of this recipe, but hopefully it'll taste good, and then this can be one of my new go-to cheese sauces because it's definitely healthy. With chickpeas being the base, you have fiber, you have protein, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and start this recipe. I'm excited and intrigued to see what this chickpea cheese sauce tastes like. So the base of this recipe, as I mentioned, is just chickpeas. These are simply homemade chickpeas that I make in the Instant Pot, but you can also use canned chickpeas. The recipe says that that is fine as well. And you do want to save some of the liquid. As you can see, mine are sloshing around in the liquid, which is also known as aquafaba, which basically just means bean water. So we're going to need some of that liquid. So if you are using the can, don't throw the liquid away. We're going to need that to make the sauce. Now, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it in other videos, but for those of you who don't know, nutritional yeast is what vegans use to give kind of a cheesy flavor to things. Does it taste exactly like cheese? I'm not gonna lie to you, no, it doesn't. But it does taste kind of similar, and when you use it correctly in a recipe, you can kind of replicate the cheese flavor. And that's what we're going for here. So it is a good ingredient to have in your vegan or plant-based pantry. If you haven't tried it yet, get to the store and try some nutritional yeast. Tapioca starch. Now, this ingredient is not in the original recipe that I found online, but I have used it in other cheese sauces before. Tapioca starch is going to give your cheese that stretchy texture. I did make a video about stretchy vegan mozzarella. I will link that up here if you guys would like to see. And in that recipe, we do use the tapioca starch, and it definitely makes a difference in the texture of your cheese sauce. So I will say that this is optional, but if you're looking for that stretchy cheese texture, I would highly recommend trying out tapioca starch because this is what will give your cheese that texture. White miso paste. This is another umami flavor builder. This just has a lot of like salty umami flavorness to it. I don't know how else to describe it. Now, this can be a little bit more difficult to find. I found it at my local Asian store in the refrigerated section, but I've also seen regular stores like Walmart carrying it nowadays. So just check around. If there's an Asian section of your supermarket, try there first. That's probably where this would be. Now, the recipe just calls for vegetable broth, not this flavor in particular, which is the no chicken flavor. But I do find that this has like a little bit better flavor than the plain vegetable one. So I'm using this instead, but you can use any vegetable broth you like. You can use a low sodium one. You could probably even get away with water, but this is the one that I'm using today. Okay, our cheese sauce is looking quite lovely. I mean, it's definitely a yellow color, so that's good so far. So I'm just gonna blend in stages. I will fill as much as I can in here, blend that till it's pureed thoroughly, and then add it to the saucepan. I'm just gonna heat it up to get the tapioca starch activated, I guess you could say. Now, if you're not using tapioca starch, you probably don't need to heat yours on the stovetop. You can just go ahead and use it as is. Okay, it looks very thick, but it does look like it got pretty smooth. Let's put this in the saucepan. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Now, mine is a bit runny, and that's because I used a lot more liquid because I knew that the tapioca starch will help thicken it up. So I'm not too worried about the runniness. If you're not using tapioca starch, you can use a lot less broth, and that way you'll get a thicker sauce. Let's go ahead and heat this on the stove. I gotta say, one of the things I love about this recipe so far is look at how much cheese sauce this made. It smells so good as well. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to try this. Now I think to get a really ooey gooey, stretchy, melty texture, I could have added a bit more tapioca starch, but I'm actually okay with this texture. I think that it's quite thick, especially compared to what it was before I heated it. Don't judge, all I could find was this little heel of bread, and I'm just going to put some on here and have a little taste. Oh man, wow. This sauce is honestly just as good as the one with cashews. You would never know that this is made of chickpeas. Like, it is so decadent and creamy. Oh man, I'm just gonna eat it right off the spoon. This is it. This is the new cheese sauce for me. It's healthy, it's protein, it's full of fiber, and it's really, really good. I'm actually very surprised. I definitely thought that there would be some kind of like graininess because of the chickpeas, but I was able to totally blend that out, and it's just super smooth and creamy. Wow. Now just FYI, this cheese sauce does seem to be more saucy than a cheese that you would use for like a grilled cheese or a quesadilla. I know in the mozzarella video that I made, I did end up using it in a quesadilla, and it did work really well, but I think you would need more tapioca starch for this recipe to make it more like that cheese. But anyway, this is definitely more like a sauce, and so it would probably make a really good mac and cheese, or I'm even thinking like a broccoli cheddar soup maybe, or of course just to dip your chips in. But just keep that in mind if you're looking for something that you can use on a grilled cheese or like a quesadilla, this might be too liquidy for that. If you are sensitive to saltiness, definitely use a low sodium vegetable broth, and or you might want to reduce the amount of miso paste because mine is quite salty even for me. But other than that, it's really, really good. I highly recommend you guys try this recipe. I'm pretty blown away. I didn't think you would get that much creaminess from beans, but here we are. Delicious. Chickpea cheese. Wow. I'll link the original recipe down below with my modifications, of course, and if you're looking for my other vegan cheese video, I will link that right here. You guys can watch that after this one. If you do try this out, please let me know in a comment down below. I would love to know what you guys think of this. And also don't forget to subscribe. I'm making new videos every week, bringing you vegan recipes and whole food plant-based recipes for you to make at home. And with that, let's eat plants, and I will see you guys next time.